Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 9 of Oilers This Week. I am your host, Gene Edwards. This is week ending March the 12th, 2022. We have lots to discuss, but first, I do plead with all of my viewers out there that if you can afford it, please make a donation. This is a QR code to the Red Cross. I don't care if you go through the Red Cross or whichever platform of your choosing. But please, if you can afford, please help out our brothers and sisters overseas in the Ukraine as they are still going through a horrible and miserable time with the Russian invasion. So please help out. Let's dive into the week that will be for the Oilers. There is 3 games on hand. They play Montreal, they play Calgary, and they will play Washington Capitals. So 3 tough games. These are teams that... These are going to be very hard games, but they have to win some of these hard games because right now they are on the outside looking in and very well could miss the playoffs if they keep going on this downward slope. So let's hope for the best because it's crunch time now. The deadline is 2 weeks from now. They better get going. They better get going now. As far as the injuries go, I didn't bring a list, so I'm kind of going off the cuff here. But I do believe Zach Kassian is coming back sometime this week. I think Archibald is now week to week, so he could come back, who knows, maybe even later in the week. I'm not sure, but he's coming around really well. Obviously, Klefbom, he's pretty much done. I think, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think Klefbom will ever wear an Oilers uniform again. I think he's pretty much going to be retired. I'll be very surprised if he makes a comeback. Nugent Hopkins is week to week still, and he's a big piece that we need. And Yamamoto... yes, he's actually slated because I know he was hurt, but he's actually in the lineup now. So yeah, there's a few key pieces, but we got like Keith is back now. He was back as of last week, so it's slowly starting to get healthy again. This Oiler team. As far as the lines go for the week, Jay Woodcroft has Fogle, McDavid, Hyman, Kane, Draisaitl, Yamamoto, Malone, McLeod, and Ryan, Benson, Turris, and Shore for your forwards. As far as your defensive pairing goes, it's Nurse and Ceci, Keith and Bouchard, Nima Lyon and Legason, and your goaltending tandem is Smith and Koskinen. Okay, as far as the 5 stats go, there has been no change as far as rank goes. There's always going to be subtle little changes in the actual numbers because we're talking decimal factors. So there will always be a little bit of a change. I'm basically judging off rank of how if they've jumped up in rank and leapfrogged a team or went down. So the only one that really changed was the save percentage. It actually went up from 25th to 23rd overall. But the power play, penalty kill, goals against average, all that stuff, just like I say, slight changes, but no rank change. So it's a big week. On this particular episode, I am going to review those 3 games. Again, it is the Montreal Canadiens, Calgary Flames, and the Washington Capitals. My career video this week is going to be on one of my favorite of all times, even though he never won a Stanley Cup, Ryan Smyth. I put a lot of work into this video as it's actually a longer video than a Kevin Lowe, despite Kevin Lowe being through all the different aspects of the Oilers organization. It's a very good video on Ryan Smyth. I put a lot of time into it. Please enjoy it. Let's just get right into it. Let's dive right into this. Let's start with the review of the Oilers and the Montreal Canadiens. All right, I wonder who's fuming more today, myself or Steve Dangle, as his Toronto Maple Leafs lost to the Vancouver Canucks last night. I'm livid right now, and I actually almost think that this could be the week that seals the Oilers' fate for making or breaking the playoffs. Okay, I'm just trying to get my thoughts here. Goaltending needs to be addressed, like now. There's no more. I'm not gonna be kind of, well, there was this and well, no. Goaltending needs to be addressed right now. I'm getting tired of seeing 4 goals on 12 and 13 shots. It needs to be addressed. Mika Koskinen, he's a great backup. 35-40% of the workload, I'm okay with. I'd even re-sign him. Mike Smith, 40 years old, being your number one. Like, there's 2 positions in hockey that you definitely can't have aging members, and that's your goaltender, and that's your top 6 forwards. Okay? Actually, probably all your forwards, to be honest with you. You need the legs. You need to be able to skate fast, and when it comes to goaltending, especially goaltending, you need those acrobatic saves from time to time. We're not getting it from Mike Smith at all this year. He was great last year. We're not getting it this year, whether it's injury related or what is ailing him. He's not working out. We need to pursue a number 1 goaltender now. Anyway, I'm done with venting. So obviously you can tell the Oilers lost this game. This was the 100th meeting between the Edmonton Oilers and the Montreal Canadiens. I just wish it was a meeting that went in favor of the Oilers. Look, I'm a fair guy. Even if they would have lost, but lost a close battle and that, like you saw how I reported the Carolina game. Like, they played good that Carolina game, but they lost, and I was okay with it. But I am tired of watching the Oilers letting in 4 goals on 11 and 12 shots. I'm done with it. Anyway, I want to get this review over with quickly because I am fired up right now, and I just don't want any curse words coming out on my podcast. Trust me, I have a few in my mind, but anyway. So we're going to start with the scoring summary. It started with Cole Caulfield, his 8th of the year, at 10:58 unassisted. Evander Kane, who has been a bright spot on this team since we got him, his 8th goal since we got him, and he's scoring about almost a goal every 2 games roughly on average. He got his 8th at 11:20 from Leon Draisaitl. Brendan Gallagher then recaptures the lead for the Canadian, his 5th on the power play. 1921 from Suzuki and Weidman. We go to the second period. Ryan McLeod evens it up again. His 6th at 5:37 from Bouchard and Hyman. Followed by Nick Suzuki, his 13th, on the power play at 10:17 from Cole Caulfield and Weidman to make it 3-2. Then, to put the nail in the coffin, it was Aturi Lehkonen, if I'm pronouncing that right, a shorthanded goal. How many shorthanded goals are they going to let in? Okay. Shorthanded goal at 10:25 from Suzuki and Kulik. Okay. Mike Hoffman gets another one, his 11th at 16:11 from Gallagher and Chariot. 5-2 Montreal final. This is the 11th loss in the last 16 games for the Edmonton Oilers at Rogers Place. All right, let's go with the stats. Okay. defensemen are supposed to defend, which means they usually should sustain most of the workload when it comes to the hitting area, right? So why did Warren Foegele out-hit the entire defensive core? Warren Foegele had 7 hits. The rest of the Oilers D-men throughout the lineup had 6. I don't understand this. I just don't understand. Mike Smith, .857 save percentage, letting in 4 goals on 13 shots. One of the highlights is the Oilers were pretty good on the dot, 58%. The power play. Montreal was 2 for 4, 50%. Edmonton was 0 for 4, 0%. I guess probably the best highlight is the fact that in Alberta right now, they've lifted COVID restrictions. So this was a near full capacity. 18,258 witnessed this game. Guys, I got to move on to the next one because I just can't talk about this one anymore. All right, let's review the game between the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames at the Saddle Dome for Monday, March the 7th, 2022. For a desperate team, the Oilers just lacked it a little bit tonight. Not very pleased with their effort at all. There's a few things I wasn't very pleased with, as I'll get into the stat breakdown. But if you just take a look at the Corsi chart here, Calgary was really giving us problems pretty much all night long. There was a little bit of an effort towards the end of the period, but Calgary kept on cooking. They got 2 goals. After the second goal, they definitely let off the gas a little bit, as you can see. But as soon as that fluky goal went in by Edmonton off the skate, which I'll get into that on the scoring summary, it's like Sutter just told the guys, hey guys, like they only got 1 goal on us, 1 goal difference, and you can just see their gameplay elevate again. So yeah, it wasn't a pretty game. Overall, the Oilers, I don't think, played horrible, but they didn't play with enough desperation, and considering where they are in the standings, they need to play desperate hockey right now. So I have to say, I was disappointed in this game a little bit. Anyway, let's get into the scoring summary of this game. The first period had no scoring whatsoever. It seemed very tight checking, but it actually was more of a Calgary. Calgary was really the team that was actually keeping the pace. At 6:27 of the second period, it was Tyler Toffoli, his 15th goal on the power play from Gaudreau and Tkachuk. Tyler Toffoli is something else. Every time he gets traded, he just sparks a team. Every time. I've seen him go to Vancouver, he sparked Vancouver. I've seen him go to Montreal, he sparked Montreal. Now I see him in Calgary, and he's given Calgary quite the spark as well. As he got the first and the second goal at 9:54, his 16th from Mangiapane and Rizinka. Yeah, I think I'm pronouncing that right. So it's 2-0 after 2 periods. In the third period, like I said, there was that fluky goal. The puck took a funny bounce off of the referee's skate, and unfortunately, Jacob Markstrom, lost his shutout bid because of this. But it counts. It's in play. The puck's in play, and sometimes that fluky stuff does happen. So that was Devon Shore's goal, his third from Nurse and Ryan at 4:57. And then Johnny Gaudreau capped off the night with his 23rd from Lindholm. 3-1 final. Like I say, not a bad game, but Calgary definitely took it to us a little bit more. There wasn't enough desperation out of this team. As far as the stats go, there's a few things here that are very disturbing. The first one I'm going to say is Benson. He had 12 penalty minutes. So this is a player that doesn't contribute very often. We can't have a player that doesn't contribute very often and is way more of a liability. I'm getting to the point that I am almost done with Benson. I just don't see him being a factor for our team. It might be time to give him a shot somewhere else and see if he can actually lift his career up, because right now in Edmonton he's just not getting it done. It took him 30 games to get his first NHL goal with the Oilers, and now he got 12 penalty minutes tonight. Not good. The other stat that really is disturbing is the fact that Calgary beat us on every single stat tonight. That's right, every single stat, every single key stat, they beat us on. They beat us on shots. They beat us to hits. They beat us on faceoffs. They beat us on the power play. They beat us on lesser penalty minutes. They beat us on block shots, takeaways, and giveaways. So they beat us on all those stats, and that is not a good thing. The other thing, rookie defenseman Philip Broberg. So this is a defenseman, first of all. Broberg equaled our superstar Connor McDavid in shots at 3 apiece. So a rookie that is a defenseman had the same amount of shots as our super stud Connor McDavid with 3 shots apiece. I'm not trying to criticize Connor McDavid, but his game has dropped off significantly. I mean, he's getting the points still, but that wow factor isn't there. I don't know what happened to it, but the wow factor is gone. So, Edmonton lead the season series 2-1. The final game that they will play against each other is at the end of this month. The Oilers are now 4 points back of Vegas and slowly slipping out of the playoff picture. They need points. They need to play with desperation. I believe in Woodcroft. I believe in this team. I always have, and maybe that's one of my downfalls, but they need to start pulling it together. Anyway, we'll get on to the next topic. Ryan Alexander Borden Smyth, born February 21st, 1976, is a Canadian former professional ice hockey winger who played most of his career for the Edmonton Oilers of the National Hockey League. He was especially known for his playing style as a power forward. Smyth announced his retirement on April 11th, 2014, after 19 NHL seasons. He currently is one of the owners of the AJHL Spruce Grove Saints. During his playing career, Ryan Smyth spent 3 years with the Moose Jaw Warriors of the Western Hockey League WHL, scoring 105 points during the 1993-94 season. Smyth was then drafted 6th overall in the 1994 NHL entry draft by the Edmonton Oilers. That year, he played only 3 games with the Oilers and stayed the majority of the year in Moose Jaw. He spent 12 seasons with Edmonton before being traded to the New York Islanders in 2007 due to failed contract negotiations. Becoming an unrestricted free agent in this offseason, he signed a 5-year contract with the Colorado Avalanche. After 2 seasons with the team, he was traded to the Los Angeles Kings July 2009. On June 26, 2011, he was reacquired by the Edmonton Oilers for Colin Fraser and a 7th-round pick in 2012. Smyth has represented Canada in international competition on numerous occasions. He has won gold medals at the 1995 World Junior Championships, the 2002 Winter Olympics, the 2003-2004 World Championships, and the 2004 World Cup. Having served as captain of Canada's World Championship teams, he is also the all-time leader in games played in tournaments. He played a record of 90 games for Hockey Canada while becoming the only player in hockey history to win gold in all of the Olympics, World Cup, World Championships, World Juniors, and Spandler Cup. He was inducted into the IIHF Hall of Fame in 2020. Smyth had his number 28 retired by Moose Jaw in 2015. During his final junior season, Smyth was briefly called up to the NHL by the Oilers. He made his debut January 22, 1995, in an away game against the Los Angeles Kings. Playing in 3 games total, he did not record any points. The following season, he tallied his first goal on November 24, 1995, against Trevor Kidd of the Calgary Flames while on the power play. He went on to record 2 goals and 11 points over 48 games as a rookie, while also spending time in the American Hockey League, with the Oilers' minor affiliate league, the Cape Breton Oilers. He recorded 11 points over 9 American Hockey League games in 1995-96. Smyth spent the entire 1996-97 season with the Oilers and improved to 39 goals, a career high, and 61 points over 82 games. At the beginning of the season, on October 8, 1996, he recorded his first of 5 career hat-tricks with 20 power play goals. He tied Wayne Gretzky's team record set in 1983-84. In the 1997 playoffs, he added 10 points in 12 games. Despite a strong second NHL season, he struggled the next 2 campaigns with 33 and 31-point efforts. In 1999-2000, he returned to form with a 28-goal, 54-point year. The following season, he recorded a career-high 39 assists and 70 points, ranking second in team scoring to team captain and first-line center Doug Weight. As Weight was traded in the offseason to the St. Louis Blues, Smyth took on a larger role as offensive leader on the team. For the remainder of his tenure with the Oilers, he remained a 50 to 60-point range player. Due to the 2004-2005 NHL lockout, Smyth spent the season inactive. Although the Oilers entered the 2006 playoffs as the 8th and final seed in the Western Conference, Smyth helped the team on a run to the Stanley Cup Finals with 16 points and 24 postseason games. During the second round against the San Jose Sharks, he was hit in the mouth by a puck as a result of a clearing attempt from defenseman teammate Chris Pronger. After losing 3 teeth, needing stitches, Smyth returned to the third period and went on to set up Sean Horkoff for the game-winning goal in triple overtime. The Oilers were ultimately defeated in Game 7 by the Carolina Hurricanes in the finals. Early the following season, during a game against the San Jose Sharks on October 12, 2006, Smyth broke the Oilers' record for the fastest 3 goals scored in one contest, in a span of 2 minutes and 1 second, breaking the previous record set by Wayne Gretzky on February 18, 1981 by 17 seconds. In the final year of his contract, Smyth was enjoying one of the most productive seasons of his career. As a result, he was chosen to his first NHL All-Star game in 2007. With the Oilers unable to extend his contract prior to the NHL trade deadline, Smyth was dealt away to the New York Islanders in exchange for top prospects Robert Nilsson and Ryan O'Meara, as well as a first-round selection in the 2007 NHL entry draft. It was reported Ryan Smyth was asking for a long-term deal worth at least $5 million a season to remain in Edmonton. The move was made to ensure the team did not lose Smyth for nothing as he became an unrestricted free agent in the offseason. At the time of the trade, he was scoring at a point a game per pace. Despite playing the remainder of the season with the Islanders, he finished tied with the Oilers' lead in point scoring that year. Peter Sikora had 53 points in a full 82 games. Prior to boarding a flight for New York with his family, Smyth tearfully addressed the media at the Edmonton International Airport. He stated he was going to win the Stanley Cup with the Islanders and bring it back to Edmonton. Smyth debuted with the Islanders on March 1st, 2007. During a game against the St. Louis Blues, he notched his first point as an Islander with an assist on Mike Sillinger's first period power play goal. New York lost the game 3-2 in overtime. 2 days later, he recorded his first NHL goal as an Islander in a 6-2 win against the Washington Capitals, playing in 18 games with the Islanders. To close out the 2006-2007 season, Smyth posted 15 points, 5 goals, and 10 assists. Combined with his stats from Edmonton, he finished the season with 36 goals and 68 points. Becoming an unrestricted free agent on July 1st, 2007, Smyth signed a 5-year, $31.2 million contract with the Colorado Avalanche. After debuting with the Avalanche on October 3rd, 2007, in a 4-3 win against the Dallas Stars, he scored his first NHL goal with his new team 4 days later, beating goaltender Evgeny Nabokov shorthanded in the third period. He helped the Colorado Avalanche to a 6-2 win. Playing on the first line, Smyth found early chemistry with center and team captain Joe Sakic. The duo was interrupted, however, as both players were sidelined to injuries for large portions of the season. Smyth's included neck, ankle, and head ailments, limited 55 games. He recorded 14 goals and 37 points, the lowest totals of his career since 1998-99 season. During the 2008 playoffs, Smyth helped Colorado advance past the Minnesota Wild in the first round. They were, however, swept the following round by the Detroit Red Wings, who went on to win the Stanley Cup. Smyth bounced back from an injury-filled year with the Avalanche by remaining healthy for the majority of the 2008-2009 season. During the campaign, Ryan Smyth and right winger Malone scored their respective 300th career goal on January 18, 2009 against the Calgary Flames in a 6-2 victory at the Pepsi Center. He went on to record 26 goals and 33 assists for 59 points over 77 games, before fracturing his right hand on April 1st, 2009. He tied the team lead in point scoring with Hayduk, who played 5 more games than Smyth. Dealing with long-term injuries, both Paul Stanley and Captain Joe Sakic of the Avalanche struggled as the team finished last in the Western Conference. With the Avalanche in the midst of a rebuilding process, Smyth was traded to the Los Angeles Kings July 3, 2009 in exchange for Kyle Quincy, Tom Preissing, and a 5th-round selection in the 2010 NHL entry draft. During his Kings debut on October 3, 2009, he assisted on the team's first goal of the season scored by Andrei Kapitar. The Kings, however, lost the game 6-3 to the Phoenix Coyotes. His first goal with the Kings came 5 days later, scoring against Minnesota Wild goaltender Josh Harding in a 6-3 win. Playing on a line with Jared Stoll and Dustin Brown, he recorded 22 goals and 53 points over 67 games, ranking 4th in team scoring, joining a team on a markedly different trajectory than Colorado. The Kings were an improving club. Smyth's efforts helped qualify for the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. Playing the 3rd-seeded Vancouver Canucks in the first round, they were defeated in 6 games. A month into the 2010-2011 season, Smyth played his 1,000th career NHL game on November 6, 2010. His teammates acknowledged the accomplishment by wearing mullet wigs during their morning skate, alluding to Smyth's distinctive hairstyle. The Kings won the game 4-1 over the Nashville Predators, with Smyth scoring a goal in the second period. Playing in a full 82 games, Smyth finished the season with 23 goals and 47 points as the Kings qualified for the playoffs for the 7th seed and were eliminated in the first round by the San Jose Sharks. During the offseason, it was reported Smyth had informed the Kings management he would prefer to play his last year of his contract with the Oilers. On June 24th, 2011, the day of the 2011 NHL entry draft, it was reported that the Edmonton Oilers and Los Angeles Kings had come to an agreement that Smyth would go to Edmonton in return for Gilbert Boulais and a fourth-round pick in the 2011 NHL entry draft. Upon salary cap and injury concerns, the trade never went through due to the Kings' plan to buy out Boulais' contract. However, the NHL prohibits teams from buying out injured players. Smyth wanted to leave the Kings and return to the Oilers as he wanted to end his career where it started. On June 26, 2011, the Kings officially traded Smyth back to Edmonton for Colin Fraser and a 7th-round pick in the 2012 NHL Draft. In 2011-2012, his first season back with the Oilers, Smyth was the only Oiler to play all 82 games and was 5th in scoring with 46 points. On February 27, 2012, he recorded his 800th career point and assist against Winnipeg. On January 26, 2014, Smyth tied Wayne Gretzky for number 2 on the Oilers' all-time power play goal scoring list in a 5-1 win over the Nashville Predators. On March 6, he overtook Gretzky and tied Glenn Anderson for the most power play goals in franchise history with 126. With the Oilers out of playoff position towards the conclusion of the 2013-2014 season, on April 11th, Smyth announced his retirement after 19 seasons from the National Hockey League at the age of 38. He served as team captain in his final game and also received the game's first star honors. Rexall Place had its ring that traditionally read, "Welcome to Oil Country," changed to read, "Thank you, Smitty." All right, let's review the Edmonton Oilers versus the Washington Capitals for March the 9th, 2022. Wow, what a game that was. Let's just get right into the Corsi chart. As you can see, Edmonton pretty much controlled this game from beginning to end, with exception to the first, 5 minutes of the first period, where Washington was taking it to Edmonton a little bit. But other than that, in the all situations Corsi, what this chart is revealing, Edmonton had full control of this game, despite it being a 3-3 tie going to overtime where McDavid eventually got the game winner. I give them props. So, really good effort. Let's get into the scoring summary right now. There was nothing in the first period. However, there was an amazing save by Koskinen. Beautiful glove hand on Ovi. So that was something to see. That was very impressive. We get into the second period. Washington are the first to get on the board. This is Backstrom's 5th from TJ Oshie and Mantha. So we got 1-0 game. At 12:01, Kyler Yamamoto of the Edmonton Oilers gets his 12th on the power play from Bouchard and McDavid. The Yamo haters out there, I hope you're silenced, because this kid is amazing and we need to re-sign him. He's a heart and soul player, and I love the heart and soul players. At 18:12, Cody Ceci gets his 3rd from Ryan and Malone. So we go into the third period with Edmonton up 2-1. At 6:13, Washington, TJ Oshie on the power play from Backstrom and Carlson. It's a 2-2 game now. At 10:31 of the third period, Brad Malone takes the lead for the boys. His first of the year from Bouchard and Kassian, and I got to give props to Kassian. This was his first game back from the broken jaw. He's still sporting the visor helmet, the full visor. But you know what? He was a factor. He was definitely a factor in this game. With 2 seconds left in the game, TJ Oshie ties it. And I'm like, no. They played too good for this to go to waste. But thank God for Connor McDavid, as he managed to get an unassisted goal in overtime, giving the Edmonton Oilers the lead, or not the lead, the win. Yes, you got to really have praise for McDavid on that one. I know he hasn't been looking all that good, but he came through for us tonight. Your stars are, of course, McDavid, Malone, and Oshie. The season series is 2-0. That's where it stays at, because it's two interconference games, and they only play twice. Yeah, very good effort. Some of the stats that I thought I would bring to your guys' attention. The shots were 40-32 for the Oilers. Hits were 21-19 for Edmonton. Washington had us pretty good in the faceoffs, as they won 56% of it. Both teams were 1 for 4 in the power play. And Cassian and Malone both tied for 5 hits apiece. Like I said, Cassian had a great game. One of the ugly stats of the night is Draisaitl was responsible for 4 giveaways. So I hope he starts cleaning that up. I'm not going to be too hard on Draisaitl. He's a big force for our team and is usually night in, night out a gamer. So awesome job. I didn't expect a win out of this, but I definitely didn't expect them to play this well either, considering this was Alexander Ovechkin he's playing. Washington is no pushover. I think they may have been a bit tired from the Calgary game. So anyway, awesome job. I'm going to go now into the week review, as this is the last game I am doing for the week, because the Tampa game is an 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time start time on Saturday, which I will not be getting to until episode 10. So we will get into the reviews now for the week and where the Oilers are in the standings. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. All right, so that's another wrap to another Oiler week. So as of 11 a.m. on March the 12th, the standings are as followed. The Oilers are now 4th place in the Pacific, 2 points back of Vegas with 66 points. They are 9th in the conference, 1 point back of Dallas for the last and final wild card. They have a total of 24 remaining games. 54% of them, or 13 of them, is against teams above the playoff cut line. So they're in a bit tough right now. Let's hope they can pull it off. They got their trade deadline this week upcoming, with the Tampa going into the next week's games, is going to dictate what Holland does at the deadline, which is next Monday, I believe. And we'll go from there. On a side note, the orange jerseys that the Oilers currently use as their home jerseys is going to be no longer as of next year. Next year, they are going back to royal blue. They are also going to keep the deep blue, dark orange ones. I call them the Halloween jerseys because they look like a big pumpkin on there, as I am waiting for mine to still come in the mail. But, yeah, they are supposed to be going to be still in. And they are returning with the retro reverse. And the retro reverse is going to be the McFarland jersey that they are coming with next year. So it's going to be interesting to see that jersey. I think I might have to pick that one up, as I never got one the first time around. Anyway, guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching and tuning in. If you like the content I have, please like and subscribe. And we will see you next week for the 10th episode. Right on. Talk to you later, guys.